Hello and welcome to another video. In this one I am going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. So I kind of saw this a couple of weeks ago. I think I got told about it a couple of weeks ago, and everyone that sets up a new Booktube channel kind of does this tag. And I set mine up. My first post was the very last weekend of October. So I kind of think I'm still a bit of a newbie. So I thought I would give this tag a go. So there's 10 questions. I will try and keep it short and sweet. We'll see how it goes. So first of all, why did you start this channel? So I have been, for the last year and a bit, watching a lot of booktubers, and not just booktubers, but there's a couple of people that I watch who do like morning routines and evening routines, and I just really enjoy watching those sort of things. So I kind of thought, why not start doing it myself? Because I absolutely love reading. I read a lot of books, probably not as much as some booktubers. So I'm on book 70 of the year now, so probably not as much as some booktubers, but you know, it's always in the 70s. So I kind of feel like I've always got a book on the go, really. And I just decided one day that maybe I should give it a go and do it myself and create my own videos. Create my own books. Create my own videos. So yeah, I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. So number 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So I am going to be doing some things that not a lot of booktubers do. There are some people out there that do it. So I really want to incorporate places that I go to with reading. So I have already posted one actually, which was when I went to the Brecon Beacons back in November. I read a thriller that was set in the Brecon Beacons right next to where I was staying. So the video doesn't just show like a normal reading vlog, it also shows like the different days out done whilst I was in the Brecon Beacons. And it's kind of like a reading vlog, but also seeing the different area that I'm in. And I kind of want to do something along those lines, nearly monthly. It's not going to be every month that I do this. But also do things like in February, I want to go to where Jane Austen's cottage is. It's near to Winchester, somewhere over that way, so not too far from me. And I want to read Pride and Prejudice and then go and visit there, and do that as a reading vlog. And I want to read a book that's set in a haunted hotel while staying in a haunted hotel, all of those kind of things. So it's going to be a bit more fun. There's going to be a bit more added to it, so it's not just me constantly sitting in front of a camera and talking. There's going to be more to it as well. So that's what I'm hoping I can start doing more of going into 2024. Question 3 is, what are you most excited for about this channel? Probably just, you know, creating these vlogs, creating these video content. I'm coming up with ideas, doing planning, keeping myself busy and occupied mainly as well. So yeah, that's quite an exciting. It's also because it's new, isn't it? It's going to be exciting because it's new. It's a new thing that I'm doing. So yeah, it's quite exciting. And why do you love reading? So for me, reading is a form of escape. So admittedly, I did stop reading when I was about 16, 17 for a couple of years. And it just wasn't seen as cool when I was at school to sit there with a book. So I just stopped reading for a couple of years. And then when I was like 19, I ended up moving out of the family home in with my boyfriend at the time. And he ended up being diagnosed when we were like 2021 with a mental health illness. And I did struggle as well. Like I was struggling. So I ended up just burying my head into a book. And I ended up loving the whole idea of sitting down and reading a book and being taken to this whole other world, and you get transported into the book. In my imagination just runs wild, and it's like I'm there with these characters, and I just absolutely love it. And that's why I love reading, because it is a form of escape. It really is, and it helps me so much mentally. It really does. Okay, so question 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? So when I was a child, it was definitely the Roald Dahl books, which isn't really a series or any particular book. There isn't a particular book, but it was just all the Roald Dahl books. And also, when I was a bit older, it was then the Goosebumps series, which by R.L. Stein. And then when I was a teenager, it ended up being the Karen Slaughter books. And yeah, Karen Slaughter, I think Lisa Jewell was back then, Val McDermid. It was those sort of authors. That's when I first started getting more into like crime fiction and that sort of thing. Actually, before I started my Instagram, like my Bookstagram account, which was about 2 years ago, I literally just read thrillers and crime fiction. That's all I read. And then when I started seeing more books on my Bookstagram, I then started diving into other genres. So yeah, so depending on what part of my life that I was in, that it kind of like determines which book I would say got me into reading. When I was a bit older, it's probably the girl with the dragon tattoo. It's the Millennium Trilogy. So the first 3 books in that series I absolutely loved, and also the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown as well, years ago. So yeah, I can't really pinpoint an exact series or book, but I kind of feel like depending on what part of my life I was in, kind of determines what book or author or, you know, kind of genre kind of got me back into reading. So quite a vague answer really to that question, isn't it? But it's quite hard to pinpoint one. And then question 6, what questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? Just anything, like any advice. Just any advice. Basically, like, how do you do it? How do you find the time to film, edit, upload, read all of the books, plan, do everything? Like, how do you get the time to do it? And then question 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Trying to be more organised. I have a job that's just a very chilled job, and I kind of feel like it means I'm not overly organised in that sense, because it is so chilled, not a lot happening, very laid back. So I don't have to plan. Literally when I leave, that's the end of it. I don't think about it until the next day. So doing this booktube is kind of making me use my brain a bit more, making sure I'm getting organised and planning things. I am enjoying it though. I'm enjoying it still. But it is a bit of a challenge actually to be a bit more organised and to think about when I'm going to be reading certain books, creating TBRs, just, yeah, thinking about what content I can do. Yeah, there we go. That's a challenge, isn't it? Being organised. Number 8, when did you start reading? So when I was very little, my mum used to read to me when I was like 3, 4. And then I did start reading quite early actually. For my 5th birthday, I actually got a bookcase and a load of books for my birthday. And I remember that bookcase like it was yesterday. It had a clown on it, and it was red and blue and green. And absolutely loved it. I loved the fact that I had my very own bookcase. So yeah, I was very young. Like I said earlier, I did stop when I was like 16, 17 for a couple of years, and then when I was like 19, 20, I got into it seriously. And since then, I'm now 34. So since then, yeah, I've read a lot, really. I just haven't stopped reading. I've constantly got a book. So yeah. And then question 9, where do you read? So I have my very own home library, which I'm so grateful for, and I'm just so glad I've got it. So when we moved 2 years ago, my goal was to have my very own home library. So one of the bedrooms actually got converted into a library, and that is just its sole purpose. It doesn't get used for anything else. It's just bookcases and a sofa and all my candles and fairy lights, all of that. And I absolutely love my library. So I read in there. It's very rare that I read like after 10 p.m, but if I do, then that will be in bed. But it's very rare. I find it a struggle to read late at night. If it's like a warmish day, I've got nothing else going on, or Paul's like doing some work with his parents in their house renovations, then I will head into the forest. So I live on the edge of the New Forest. So I pop into the forest and sit in there and read amongst the horses that roam around. So yeah. And then question 10, what kind of books do you like to read? So I kind of mentioned this earlier actually. Before Instagram, I literally just read crime fiction and thriller. And since Instagram, I now read pretty much any genre. I do struggle a little bit with romance. I'm not going to lie. I don't mind like romance and fantasy, where it's just, you know, a little bit of romance, that's fine. I just don't like predominantly romance books that much, but that's more of a personal reasoning behind it. Yeah, and I don't think I'm that keen on YA. I don't know, I probably haven't read as like that much YA to just give a general like an overall like what's the word? I can't think what the word is. My brain's gone. Basically pretty much any genre. Let's be honest, any genre. Starting Bookstagram and watching people on Booktube basically means that I've ended up buying books left, right and centre. And it means that I'm reading so many more genres, and obviously absolutely loving it. But yeah, I can't really pinpoint a specific genre because it is pretty much anything, really. And also, I do prefer standalones to series sometimes. If it's like a duology or trilogy, then I can probably deal with it. But if it's like a series where it's like 7, 8 books long, I kind of get a bit like intimidated by it and a bit like, no, maybe not. So there is that. But pretty much anything really, as long as not too soppy romance. But that's that's like a personal, that's for me. That's not, I don't know. I can sometimes, I also think it depends as well on the mood that I'm in, because sometimes I can read a romance and just be like, oh my God, I love this. Oh, it's so sweet. Oh my God, it's adorable. Yep, love it. And other times I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, really? Like an eye roll and all of this. So yeah, anything apart from romance, but every so often the occasional romance. There we go, that's my answer. So yeah, that was my little, what's it called? Booktube Newbie Tag. And just some answers to some questions. It's a bit chaotic. I mean, the phone did ring halfway through, so there might be like a little glitch in the middle of this video, which I do apologise for. But yeah, I am doing this pretty much all in one take. Each time I'm doing the talking to the camera shots in any reading vlog or any other video that I do. I am planning on getting a proper camera and something that I can do proper editing on, but that's not happened yet. So I do apologise that it is just all one take and me just going blah, 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 blah like this. But yeah, eventually I will be doing proper good, well, I don't, hopefully good YouTube videos. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope I haven't bored you. I was a bit long-winded at some of those questions, wasn't I? Yeah, it was a long-winded answer, but I apologise for that. But thank you so much if you have watched it all the way through, and I will be back soon with another video. Bye.